Thank you very much, Adrian, for your kind words. A very good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to Nur Azmi Said, Chairman of My Creative Ventures, Junaidi Nawawi, Group CEO of My Creative Ventures, Izan Satrina, CEO of Chandana, honorable speakers, my fellow moderators, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the audience who are joining us virtually. We continue to live in the age of COVID, and 2021 continues to be an interesting and challenging year. The year 2021 was also officially declared in the International Year of the Creative Economy for Sustainable Development by United Nations. Led by UNCTAD, along with UNESCO and other UN counterparts, this is in recognition that the creative sector accounts for more than 3% of the global GDP today, with a value of nearly more than $2 trillion and employing more than 30 million people worldwide. At the center of this dynamic economy are the cultural and creative industries which stand at the intersection of the arts, culture, commerce, and technology. The sector is the largest employer of youth, particularly in the categories between 18 to 25. Globally, this sector is growing, is accelerating and growing very fast. And a recent analysis by Deloitte, published in June this year, states the creative sector is likely to be the key driver of economic growth over the long term, especially as nations around the globe look to rebuild their economies in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. The report forecast that creative sector would grow by 40% by 2030, adding more than 8 million new jobs in the 9 countries that they have studied. More importantly, the creative sector has the potential to create a more human-centric and inclusive growth. Even in the lockdown era, the world tuned to film, digital content, and virtual performance as a source of comfort and resilience. Creative technological innovations enabled us to work, live, despite control movements. This is why 2021 is the International Year of Creative Economy, and the topic of today's keynote, the creative economy as a source of economic strength, is especially significant. Ladies and gentlemen, as a country rich in heritage, arts, and culture, the creative sector plays a significant role in the fabric of Malaysia's society and economy. Exactly a year ago, at the Chandana's Kuala Lumpur Cultural Economy Forum, the chief statistician of the country, Dr. Uzair Mahidin, said that the sector today accounts for nearly 2% in Malaysia, and it is currently employs around 1 million people, and this is expected to grow. Using this finding, we can chart a path of our very own creative economy. In fact, the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in many key lessons for the creative practitioners, both locally and globally, learning to survive and adapt in an ever-changing. Learn to pivot and transform by incorporating technology and new methods to deliver creative content. The Malaysian creative economy is also transforming thanks to this pivot. The advancement and popularity of social media and digital platforms have also democratized creative content, making it more accessible to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, cities has always been the epicenter of the creative economy. They have been the foundations for development of new strategies, policies, and initiatives targeted at making culture and creativity a driving force for sustainable development and urban regeneration, which contributes to promotion of social cohesion, citizens' well-being, and intercultural dialogue. Hence, many cities are positioning themselves as creative hubs that are important to sustainability, and that has particularly leveraged this ethos is the city of Bandung. Bandung, the capital of West Java province, is the home of more than 2.5 million inhabitants and is a hub of the creative innovation in Indonesia. What cements Bandung as a creative city is that 56% of Bandung's economic activity are design related, with fashion, graphic design, and digital media being the top 3 subsectors in the local creative economy. The Bandung municipal government has made great strides to spur creative economy. Launched in 2015, the Bandung Creative Center also functions as a hub for stakeholders at both national and international level for fostering the exchange of creative experiences and ideas. In the midst of Bandung's Bandung growth as a creative city, one person took it upon himself to take the city to the next level. His Excellency Ridwan Kamil, our speaker for this session, is the current Governor of West Java and previously the Mayor of Bandung. I'm glad to note that he will be delivering his keynote on how the creative economy can be a source of economic strength. More, Pak Ridwan spent most of his life in Bandung, where he also completed his studies in architecture at Indonesia's leading engineering school, the Bandung Institute of Technology. He then went on to the United States to pursue his architectural practice before winning a scholarship to pursue his master's in urban design at Berkeley. Upon graduating, he worked at the Berkeley Government Department and returned to Bandung to start what became a successful practice, Urbane, an architectural firm based in Bandung that has done projects both in Indonesia and globally. Some of his notable projects include the United Tractors Tower in Jakarta, Aceh Tsunami Museum, the Beijing Islamic Center Mosque, the Marina Bay Sands Singapore Master Plan. He also was a lecturer in the Department of Architecture at the Bandung Institute of Technology. At his heart and soul lie in the city of Bandung and its people. Pak Ridwan founded the Bandung Creative City Forum in 2008, a cross-creative community forum aimed to benefit Bandung City by supporting its many creative practitioners in the industry. Among the many programs organized by BCCF are the Hella Festival, Kampung Creative, Entrepreneur Program. Pak Ridwan debuted his political career when he ran for the 2013 Bandung mayoral election as a surprise candidate and was endorsed by two rising parties from different political ends in an effort to reform the city. With his own charismatic persona, despite the lack of prior political affiliation, but armed with a known professional achievement through his iconic designs, Pak Ridwan rose to the occasion and was elected the mayor of one of the most popular cities in Indonesia at the age of 42. Pak Ridwan didn't stop there, being a popular mayor with national appeal. He went on to run for the 2018 West Java gubernatorial elections and succeeded in elected as the 15th governor of West Java. As governor, Pak Ridwan is now focused on mainstreaming the planning and development approach to happy and creative communities. With that, I'd like to invite Pak Ridwan for his keynote address. Thank you very much. Pak Ridwan, the floor is yours.
Okay, can you hear my voice, Hamdan?
Yes, I can hear you, Pak Ridwan. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm sending my regards to all the participants and organizers. Also sending, wishing you all safe and healthy during this COVID. West Java so far is under control. Our hospital occupancy ratio only 4%, down from 91%. So I'm back to normal mode to proceed what's left behind during the 1.5 year COVID. So I'm very happy actually to be here, especially my respect to our Malaysian counterpart. As you know, of course, can I share slides? Yeah.
Yes, please. You can. You should be able to.
Slide yang latar belakang saya macam-macam. So before starting to creative economy, Hamdan, you have to understand my background. I'm very how I say it, yeah. I'm interested in many aspects in creativity. So before I become a governor, I was a city mayor. Before into politics, I was a lecturer at ITB in architecture and urban design. I also social activist, as you said, founding several community organizations, because civil society movement, in my opinion, is very important part of our stakeholder in Indonesia future. I was a radio announcer, also TV announcer. I play in the movie almost 15, but as a cameo, only 5 minutes appearance. And of course, my background was an architect, so I designed buildings, cities, using my imagination and my creativity. So I think this really color my life and also create my mindset. How I see the world, I see the development through creativity. So now I'm this decision maker. Before I was an influencer, you can say that, in creative economy. Now I'm a decision maker because I'm responsible to the future of my people. Now to the slides. Yeah, as you know, West Java is around 50 million. I think it's more than your population. Yeah. So I'm handling 50 million people.
Yeah, Malaysia has only 33 million.
Okay, so my election is a bit complicated in your election. So now I learned during my time as a mayor, and we see the importance of creative economy is getting very significant. For example, Indonesia is the third in the world in terms of creative economy contributions after the United States and South Korea. So it means we will invest heavily and then to this creative economy. Why? Because we have now population of around 270 million. And in the next 20 years, we will have more around 300 million people. In the 20 years, Indonesia will be the country where 70% of its population is under 40. So what better preparing the future than using what we call it this creative economy, knowledge economy. Of course, we aim also in terms of sustainable development goals through this creative economy. And we are seeing also some impact in COVID, but we learn we have two disruption, as you know it. I understand we have what we call 4.0 disruption. While we try to understand, to respond to 4.0 disruption, then COVID disruption came also. Yeah, so basically, in my opinion, we are experiencing now two kinds of disruption, 4.0 and also COVID. And only society that adjusts, adapt, and responds that will survive. Yeah. So next slide, you will see how the impact in my province really big to our SMEs in creative economy. The raw material got increased. They have difficulty accessing the the funds. Yeah, production also got limited. Lower purchasing power by the society, and of course decrease in revenue. This is my problem the last 1.5 years. Next. So we are building 5 steps of creating the strategies to make sure the creative economy will succeed. Of course, step 1, we are interfering in more accessible raw material for creative economy that related to product, because creative economy you have services like architecture like me, and also you have creative economy in the form of products. Yeah, so we always debate that creative economy cannot be judged only in one form as a product of creativity, but also services. Yeah, people pay me as an architect to produce imagination, not in the form of product. So step 2, Hamdan, we put a funds to make sure if they get problem to the bank, they can access the funds from us, the government. That's my assistant to them for financing facilitation. We created many platforms the last during COVID. Yeah, even Hamdan, I help Bali, I help other provinces in the name of solidarity. Because the economy is worse than West Java. So I campaign that we buy their creative economy product to campaign to my people. So during COVID, we learn a good value, which is solidarity is increasing also. So I'm using that also to give solidarity to other provinces. Next. The red ones is how we got impacted by COVID. But also, if you see the blue ones, we see increase 300% people going digital. Yeah, Before, going digital was optional. Now going digital is mandatory. Yeah. So this is a good news. It means we are forced to adjust to the way we think to our economy in relation to our daily activity. So I think I'm assuming this is also happening in Malaysia. Digital economy is increasing during COVID because Zoom meeting by COVID. Zoom meeting or school online, accessing everything now, majority digital. Next. And I'm an architect. I learned the importance of infrastructure. Yeah. So we created so many infrastructure during the time as a city mayor. I created Bandung Creative Hub. Now I created another creative hub to all cities and region, because as a governor now I'm responsible to 27 cities and regions. So I created infrastructure equally to 27 cities. This is some activities of creative economy the last 6 months. Next. As you see, this is an example. Yeah, 44 million. Sorry, this is I think 44 billion. Yeah. 44 billion US dollar equivalent of 600 trillion rupiah, and the next 2025 we increase our digital economy, I think, to around 125 billion US dollars. So sorry for the mistake. This is not million, this is billion US dollars. So this is how big the economy of digital in Indonesia that we need to respond, and majority will relate it also to our what we call creative economy. Next. So 50% our user in Indonesia located in rural area. So we are now having what we call, Hamdan, a digital village. Yeah, digital village is a concept of mine. Creating a superb infrastructure, so the people in the rural can also participate their creative economy, their local economy using digital. We feed the fish now using mobile phone. Yeah, we water the plant using mobile phone. They sell the product using online. So and they get finance also using fintech and so on and so on. This is how I try as a governor the last 2 years revolutionize the rural using the digital, and majority user. My point is they are using this from the creative economic side. So I don't think digital cannot be separated from the concept of creative economy, because this the digital is the enhancer, the catalyst for what we call creative economy. Next. So we created also a policy to have a digital competitiveness besides the infrastructure, the financing, human resources, also the growth in digital finance. Next. This is an example. Yeah, we are asking the creative people, the smart people, to turn the so-called usual business in rural area using creativity to change the society, to change the economy. For example, we have car that transform into anything. Yeah, we call it mascara. If you see the slide, there is a words in the middle low called mascara. Is a car I give to villages. You can use to watch movies, nighttime, daytime. You transform into a public car. You can bring people or bring agriculture product, or you can use as a stage for village people to do some event. Yeah, I remember people do akad nikah on that track. For marriage, for example. So this is
very
how Yeah, so it's like a transformer in the reality. Yeah. So this is only one out of so many how I use creativity to transform. Because Hamdan, I don't think creativity must resides only in the urban person, yeah, or urban citizen. As a governor, before as a city mayor, of course, my people all are urban citizens. But now as a governor, I learned that 50% of my people don't live in urban areas. So I need to inject creativity to rural also. So so I call it smart city concept in urban. I call it a digital village in a village, but majority we are trying to create. Even in our digital village, then we created what we call content creation school. Yeah, so we ask people they stay in the village, but they create content in YouTube. We created a system to understand to give education that you can stay in the village, but you can make money like you are in the city. Just create a creativity content, you put in YouTube, you monetize the YouTube. Some, I think there are a dozen that's successful creating a local content for their village using this digital and creativity content. So I think the last 2 years is very, very successful. Next. Yang itu mana? Organisasi. So, harusnya dari tadi. Hamdan and ladies and gentlemen, I was an architect. I'm now the governor, and also I have almost 15 million followers. So I'm using 3 powers to help creative economy in our movement called Ini Lokal, Ini Kolaborasi. So I post their product on my social media like Instagram to my 15 million. I design also in the form of Ridwan Kamil edition. So as a governor now, next, I design bags, I design shirts, I design helmets, I design shoes. You can buy online. Yeah, it's good quality. 30% from Bandung, world class. Shoes, jeans, watches. Next. So during COVID, I helped 22 SMEs, but not only just marketing their product to my platform or my network, but I design even Hamdan, I give my name to SMEs. I said to them, look, you can use my name to any product as long as you ask for permission and the product is not violating my belief. Yeah. So if you come to West Java, you will see barbershop name after Ridwan Kamil barbershop. You will see a warung name after me. You will see the street vendor also using my name just to sell their product better. So I think this is how I'm using power, creativity in the name of brand, in the name of imagination, and all these products they sell very fast because of this one. Next sample. So this is all the product designed by the governor of West Java. With collaboration of SMEs in West Java and other part of Indonesia. And this is my commitment. I can help my people through my policy. I can help my people through my imagination and design skill. And I help my people also through my marketing platform of my millions followers. So I think this is more or less what is the importance of the future of creative economy. The last couple of slides.
I also see that you model yourself. Not only a design.
Yeah, the product say, Pak Governor, is better you become the model yourself. It's more sellable. So so I say okay, no problem, as long nobody complain. Other slide. So the last 2 slides I want to show you is this is I help people through policy. we have already government policy on creative economy, the first in Indonesia. Yeah, so it means I have a law and policy that my budget must go to creative economy. So I think this is can be copied to all Indonesia, maybe Malaysia. So the movement of creative economy is now have a legal basis very strong in West Java. Second, I created what we call Organisasi Kreasi, Komite Kreatif and Inovasi Jawa Barat. It is a group of people that I collect and I gather, and they become a think tank of West Java creative economy. Yeah, so this is my think tank because I was a civil society activist. I learned the hard way. It's very difficult to influence the government, and now I'm a government. So I gather all the best talent in West Java to become my advisor on that. But I make it organization what we call Kreasi Jabar, Komite Ekonomi Kreatif and Inovasi. So it means I listen to them, what they want, I approve. And this is another example of creative hub in Bogor, creative hub in other cities that copying the Bandung model. I'm very happy. 2 days ago, I visited this facility. Very busy during COVID. Exchange ideas. There are exhibition. This is in Bogor. There are many things to show, and I think this space will inspire. Yeah, you can imagine this kind of space. Multiply 27 cities. That would be my commitment, my vision. So to conclude, I think yes, the creative economy become a very more important. 4.0 also creates a conclusion that the future is creation economy. The future is a dynamic economy. We will facing so many what we call disruption and so on. So I think ID-based economy is the strongest aspect to respond to that. And again, as a government, I use 3 scenarios or 3 strategies. Number 1, using policy to assist this strategy. Number 2, using my skills, personal skills to help. And number 3, using this so-called social media platform of mine also to market. So every day, Hamdan, I post in my Instagram story 2 brand of creative economy. So you can imagine if a year you have 365 times 2 products, more or less you have 720 something product appears on my Instagram, and many products say thank you because they got flooded of requests and orders because of this. So I think that that also in line with my religious belief, khairunas anfa'hum linnas. The best person is who give benefit to society. Manusia terbaik, termulia adalah manusia yang bermanfaat untuk masyarakat. So this is what I'm doing to boost my creative economy strategy in West Java. Thank you.
I think excellent. In fact, I concur with you that our lives must be purpose and meaningful. And in fact, you demonstrate that in a very exemplary manner and living it, not only living it, but rather walking the talk. Obviously, Pak Ridwan, I think you have been able to not only become an influencer, but I believe that your experience is relevant, particularly for policymakers, given that, a lot of places we struggle with how do we shift the, like you rightly said, the world is moving very fast from a production economy to a creation economy. But the mindset of what I call the rule books as well as policy making is still very much from the 20th century. And the shift that is needed requires risk taking. Now, is there anything that particularly that you would probably guide or give advice to policymakers in terms of taking risk to support the growth and development of the creative sector? Now, because we are inspired by the fact of what you have done in Bandung and now in West Java with all the policies that you have shared with us today, it is clear that you could do much amidst very little resources, amidst adversity, amidst constraint, and crisis seems to be an opportunity to you.
Yeah, I think.
What would you advise
Yeah,
policymakers?
I think this is the value of leadership, Amna, because many leaders in Indonesia also, they're just, in my opinion, they're just doing business as usual. Yeah, their time spent only for ceremonies, something routine. I came to politics. I don't want to do that. I want to create change, because I had so many complaints before I become a leader. Yeah, I was an angry citizen before I become a mayor and governor. So number one, you have to have a vision, I think. So every time I go, I always try to inspire other leaders also. We have what we call Indonesia Creative City Network. Yeah. In Indonesia, we have 500 cities. Yeah. So I think half of them now member of this Indonesia Creative City Network. That Indonesia Creative City Networks started from Bandung. Yeah. Because Bandung was given by UNESCO the Creative City Network of UNESCO for design, right? 2015, during my time as a mayor. And we are the one who apply the Bandung Creative City Forum. So everything started from a vision, but this one by community, from community become the city policy, and now grows this to the whole Indonesia. So number one, you need to have a vision, and I will not stop every time I go to inspire that every leader, every cities, region must have a strong vision of creative economy. Second one is you need to have what we call it risk-taking value. Yeah. In Indonesia, I learned so many leaders, they wait and see. Oh, Pak Ridwan, you do first. When you succeed, then I follow. That kind of attitude is happening everywhere. So, but me is different. I'm taking a risk. Yeah, I'm taking a risk. For example, today I'm building a brand of West Java cafes. I want to put this cafe all over the world, in all global city. We call it Jabarano. Jabar is stand for Jawa Barat. Ano is just a gimmick like Americano. So this is Jabar Ano. So we open in Australia. Yeah. It's a creative economy in the form of culinary, in the form of tourism, and so on and so on. So taking risks is, I'm not saying I am always succeed on that. I have 3 failed projects because we miscalculate the response from the society. But taking risks is important. Let me say in bahasa ya, I think the worst leader, pemimpin terburuk adalah pemimpin yang tidak ambil keputusan. Ya, lebih baik pemimpin ambil keputusan kemudian salah tapi dia perbaiki, ketimbang pemimpin yang diam. Ya. So that's my philosophy. Yeah. I think leader must take risk. Say you make a mistake, then you improve, you fix. Yeah. But the worst leader is just doing idle. So that's second value. The third value today is you need to be ahead of the curve by having innovations. Yeah. That's why I like to mingle with creative people. There is a saying in my society, kalau jika ingin kreatif, berjumpalah dengan orang-orang kreatif, maka kita akan terbawa kreatif. Jika Anda ingin pintar, berjumpalah dengan orang-orang pintar, maka Anda terbawa pintar. So you are coming from the quality of your friends, yeah, basically. So I think that's also something I always tell other leaders. And lastly is networking is everything. I have lots of friends in US, in Europe, my old friend in architecture, in my Berkeley time school. So I keep it in my network. So every time we have opportunities during COVID, for example, yeah, I got help solving the oxygen crisis is through my Singapore friends, my all-time friend in Singapore 20 years ago. So I think this is the value how we approach situation today. You need to have a vision. You need to be a risk taker. You need also to use your network to the maximum. And there, I think you can bring your society to the next level.
Pak Ridwan, if I can just take on from that question, you mentioned in your presentation about legislative change and policy reform. Could you maybe just expand in terms of what would be the kind of specific policy change or legislative reform that you think that should be considered ASEAN-wide?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, in ASEAN level, we need to work as a team, not as just country by country. Yeah, because if you combine the whole ASEAN, then I think it's around 800 million strong populations. Yeah, and we need, for example, something I learned about creative economy. Not every city, not every region, not every country has all the aspect of creative economy. If we divide creative economy into 15, 17, yeah, from movies, from films, from culinary, digital, I don't think Indonesia has all the strength. I don't think Malaysia also has all the strength. Maybe Malaysia has 4 strength in all categories in creative economy. Maybe Indonesia has 5. If we combine as an ASEAN, then we can create like a European Union kind of concept, but in the creative economy. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe your side can start this conversation to create ASEAN level policy. I think I will be interested to be part of it. This journey.
I think maybe we have to kickstart back again what we started some time back called the Southeast Asian Creative Cities Network. And and that, you know, it's while I'm not sure whether we can achieve it at the level of country to country, but I'm confident to say that between cities there was an effort while you were the mayor. We had the Southeast Asian Creative Cities Network, and maybe that's a good platform. Now, the reason why I think I raised that question was that, like you rightly said, ASEAN is a $3 trillion economy with nearly 700 million people living in this space, and it's a powerhouse of the region. And with Indonesia, you know, like you rightly said, in the next 20 years, you will have a 300 million population with a large number of people, 70% below the age of 40. Now, in that kind of context, what would be the aspiration that you want to get leaders to aspire to in the context of saying that the role that the creative sector can play?
Yeah, I think, as I said, we need to invest in mindset changing educations. Yeah, you know, when I took over as a governor, I learned majority unemployment coming from my vocational school. Yeah, it's a bit ironic because vocational school was designed for the graduate to go to a job market very fast, right? But actually, they are majority unemployed. So it means they not adjusting to the change of disruption, 4.0 disruption of COVID and so on and so on. So I think number one, human capital investment is the most important thing. That's why during time me as a governor now, I building school on that more in maritime economy, in digital economy, creating a school of export, for example. Coba tampilkan yang ekspor Shopee. Yeah, so because they need to be educated, so they learn that time is changing very fast. Yeah, this one with Shopee, for example. Yeah, we initiated the school for my SMEs, majority in creative economy, to understand faster how to export. Yeah, before, the traditional way of doing creative economy business is just local, using bahasa only, for example, yeah. But now my mission is, hey, you need to push your product to ASEAN. You need to push your product to the world, because Bandung product, West Java product is some are very world class, so we are very confident. But without the knowledge how to export, this is a small knowledge, yeah. I don't think we can grow. Yeah. So investing in people, investing in education to be ready for future creative economy boom. I think this is the way to go, as my advice to everybody who make a decision in the form of, as I said, formal education or informal education. Doesn't matter, as long as you see the change using this one.
What would be advice to actually to the, while we spoke about policymakers and so on, what would be your personal advice to the creative community, because they have been going through extreme challenges, like you said, during this COVID crisis?
Yeah.
And how do you think they should be prepared to emerge out of this crisis? Given
as
the
I said, as I said before to them, COVID disruption created a space and time to pause. Maybe your business not relevant to the new normal, yeah, because we learn majority of business was going down, except the business of digital, except the business of food security, except the business of transportations and healthcare, for example. So during COVID, I pushed many creative people to push to more creativity in the food industry. Yeah, because we learned that creativity in food industry is strong, even though you have a COVID. So during COVID, many, for example, a musician, because they cannot perform live, they don't have business, they are using their brand to create coffee, to create tea, to create any delicacies and so on, and they survive. So I think my advice would be sensitive to change, yeah. Be ready to adjust, be ready to move on, be ready to be different. You cannot always think that your product, your existence will be there forever. Yeah, creative economy is a fast changing ecosystem. So you need to be agile. You need to be more sensitive to change your way of doing business to new economy. So I think that's lesson learned during COVID. People who survive is usually people who fast in changing the existing business into the new ventures, yeah, related to disruption free kind of economy.
Ridwan, there's some questions from the floor that ask that if you don't have a digital strategy for the creative economy of West Java, how much impact do you think you would have lost?
Of course, this is an easy to understand but difficult to answer. Yeah, because the non-digital economy is still there, because some people still need face-to-face kind of human interaction. People still need to meet in social space, in the physical space. So, for example, Pak Ridwan, we don't have mobile phone. How I can sell my product? So I create second level of intervention. I ask what we call it, the community leaders, to be the catalysts. So it means, yes, some of the producer they don't really understand the digital, but I ask the community leader to be part of this bridge to connect the conventional business to the digital era. For example, we have what we call a platform called Tani Hub. Yeah. Tani Hub is basically a platform, Hamdan, for people who wants to buy the agriculture product, for people who wants to apply for financing in one platform organized by young people. But majority of the customer, they don't understand digital. So this is how I intervene, is asking the privileged group to become the catalyst to help the non-digital society. Yeah, but I think if you ask this question today, in my opinion, it's a bit not relevant, Hamdan, because majority in West Java, if you go everywhere, they have mobile phones. Yeah, they have the smartphone is basically a ratio maybe 1-to-1. Everybody has it. Yeah, so it means I'm just upgrading. One example, very funny, is a housewife. They're selling boxer shorts, yeah, men's shorts. Ridwan, we moved to Instagram to sell my products. Yeah. Usually per day I sell 10 items. Now I have to sell almost 100 items. Ridwan, is too much. I don't think digital is good for me. I want to go back to manual mode because it's too much. So it's not always smooth transition. People got shocked because when they try selling on the street and they selling on Instagram, got order from everywhere. The support system is not there yet. Yeah. So this is also another issue I have to handle. But basically, I'm using the privileged group to help the one that's still under literate about digital. I think that will be a very technical answer that concrete to help my people that's still learning the digital.
Ridwan, in what they call in conclusion, what advice would you give the what they call to the sector in Malaysia? You know, especially that we are trying to build this. We are not as successful as, say, in the case of how the creative sector has really become a dynamo in Indonesia. What would
I think you need to know your strength. That's number one. Yeah. For example, yeah, Hamdan, South Korea, they focus only on film and music, not anything else, in my opinion. So they invade the world through the K-pop, through the Korean drama. So I'm learning the same thing. Because creative economy spectrum is too wide, right? I cannot try to be the best of everything. That's my point. So West Java will focus maybe only 40% from the range of creative economy, but make it the best. That's my point. It's like you're giving a scholarship, Hamdan. You cannot give scholarship to everyone. You give scholarship only to the brightest few on the class. So creative economy also the same. Malaysia should pick or select from the 100% range of creative economy, which one is the strength of Malaysia. We focus on that strength, be the best in ASEAN, in the world, and I think that's also my strategy. So by doing so, I think we become the champion someday. But again, looking forward for more cooperation here in ASEAN level, maybe from creative city network. We focus also in the broader terms of creative economy, because I have to include the rural areas in injecting creativity also. So I think please do not see creative economy happening only in cities and urban. As a governor now, I have a new point of view that creativity is a right for every places, even in rural areas. So hopefully, I have still 3 years as a governor. I want to see a successful creative economy as a strategy, not only in city, but also in my 5,000 rural villages in West Java. So I think that would be my last advice.
Thank you, Pak Ridwan. I think it's an excellent session. I believe that, we heard how Pak Ridwan is transitioning from Mayor of Bandung to the Governor of West Java, and how he is now reshaping, I think he made a very clear point of no longer the case that he was an agitator and a driver of building the creative sector in cities, but rather he is now one responsible to address these concerns to the creative sector itself. And some lessons that I see is about reshaping policies and utilizing your skills in a more effective manner, being agile, leveraging off the social media, and not forgetting the fact that what you call creative is not only about cities, it's also about rural, the lessons from Digital Felix, and I think his role model in terms of ini local, ini kolaborasi. I think these are all very inspirational. I believe the audience today, I'm sure that you will agree with me that Pak Ridwan deserves a big round of applause. But this is the virtual world. But we will probably thank Pak Ridwan for his sharing today, and I hope that this will inspire all those who are listening today, and hopefully Chandana will carry the lessons to the government. Thank you, Pak Ridwan, and look forward to meeting you in Bandung.
Thank you, Hamdan. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.